On the news tonight, President Bola Tinubu signs 2025 budgetary appropriation bill into law. Governor Sheriff Oborewori says his administration will continue to respond to criticism with verifiable projects. Federal government defends its decision to approve a 50% tariff hike for telecommunication services. And abroad, the Vatican says Pope Francis will remain in hospital, though showing signs of improvement. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us for Delta TV Main News at 8. I am Blessing Ostiagbada. President Bola Tinubu has signed the 2025 budgetary appropriation bill into law. The National Assembly had passed a total of 54.99 trillion naira for the 2025 fiscal year. The budget, initially 49.7 trillion naira, was raised to 54.2 trillion naira by the legislature after President Bola Tinubu applied for the increase. The budget breakdown shows that 3.645 trillion naira was earmarked for statutory transfers, 14.317 trillion naira for debt servicing, while 13.64 trillion naira and 23.963 trillion naira were set aside for recurrent expenditure and capital expenditure development fund. The document also shows that 14.317 trillion naira is set aside for debt servicing, reflecting Nigeria's fiscal obligations, while recurrent expenditure covering salaries, overheads, and government operations amounts to 13.64 trillion naira. The state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewori, has said his administration will continue to respond to criticism with verifiable projects that are positively impacting on the lives of Deltans. Governor Oborewori stated this during the inauguration of the Boji-Boji-Owa Mixed Market in Ika Northeast Local Government Area, constructed by the state government. Heribotu has details.
Yeah.
The governor, represented by his deputy, Sir Monday Oyeme, said his administration had embarked and completed on several projects, while others were currently ongoing in different parts of the state in line with the more agenda, in spite of critics who pretended not to see the various projects. He noted that there are pockets of members of the opposition political parties in the state who are only functional on the social media platforms, but expressed joy that Deltans are aware of the projects executed by his administration in their localities.
Of course, every project we do is there for the people to see. The people in the opposition in our state today know that we are doing very well. But of course, they use the social media. You know how social media is. So the best way we can tell them to shut up is through projects, which we are doing. I mean, anybody who is in this environment now seeing this, seeing how it has impacted, or it will continue to impact on the people around here, we will know that the government is doing well. The party that brought the government is doing well. So we continue to tell them to show them the projects that we are doing.
Following the inauguration of the Boji-Boji Mixed Market, Governor Oborewori ordered the closure of the old Abata at the market. He said the market, built on the banks of the Orogodo River, was the bridge that connected the smart agenda to the more agenda. The governor stated that the contract for the construction of the market was awarded in the twin light of the last administration and was championed by the member representing the Ika Northeast constituency in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Marilyn Okowa Daramola, recognizing the potential of markets in fostering economic growth. He affirmed that the market will not only boost economic activities, but also create jobs, stimulate innovation, and improve the overall well-being of the citizens, and stress the need for the maintenance of the market.
This administration is poised to continue to answer the yearning of the people. We want to urge you to continue to be peaceful, to be law-abiding, and to continue to have faith in this government. and this administration, and our dear party, the People's Democratic Party. Do not be frightened, do not be shaken by some rumors that are flying all over the space. You know that the People's Democratic Party, our dear party, is a performing party. We have projects, we have things to show for our being here in government.
The Commissioner for Trade and Investments, Mr. Samuel Oligida, said the market had 132 open stores, abattoirs, livestock section, warehouse, generator house, solar-powered borehole, and drains, among other facilities, which underscored Governor Sheriff Oborowori's commitment to providing platforms for trade and investments in the state.
For his unwavering support and leadership, we also use this opportunity to thank the contractor for the work well done.
For a part, the member representing the North-East constituency in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Marilyn Okowa Daramola, disclosed that the location of the market was a dump site where the traders carried out their businesses, and thanked Governor Oborowori for his administration's commitment towards the provision of infrastructures.
This market is indeed a huge plus for us. To my constituents, it has been a privilege to serve and represent this local government. And with the continued support of His Excellency and other stakeholders, we will build an Ika Northeast that reflects the strength, ambition, and unity of our people.
The chairman, Ika Northeast Council, Honorable Monday Odigwe, thanked the state government for the construction of the market, saying it clearly demonstrated its commitment to providing essential facilities that would improve the lives of the people in a safe and hygienic environment. Sir Festus Ogbanzu, who spoke on behalf of impacted communities and some market women, thanked Governor Sheriff Oborowori for executing people-oriented projects in the state and appealed that the stores should be allocated to the old traders. I am Pere Botu reporting.
The state deputy governor, Samonde Onyeme, has called on youths of Nsukka clan to maintain peace and obey constituted authorities in all their activities. Sir Onyeme made the call while inaugurating the President General and members of the Nsukka Youth Development Association at Nsukka and Nyocha South Local Government Area. Pere Botu has details.
The deputy governor urged the executive to work as a team for the betterment of the kingdom while being patriotic in their actions in order to attract development to Nsukka Kingdom. He advised them to resolve issues amicably and channel any grievances to the appropriate authorities for resolution rather than take laws into their hands. Sir Oyeme urged the youth to support the Oborowori administration and the leadership of Nsukka clan, noting that no form of development could take place in an atmosphere of violence.
I want to advise that just like you promised yourself, please keep it up. Ensure that at all times there is peace in Nsukka Kingdom. Ensure that you continue to do things together, to love yourselves. To love yourselves. Whenever there are issues, for people to sit down together and resolve it amicably.
He commended the President General and members of the Nsukka Youth Development Association for the peaceful conduct of the election, saying the election model could be adopted by other communities. The President General of the Nsukka Youth Development Association, Mr. Harrison Opia, an engineer, in his remarks said his executive would work with the Oborowori administration to promote the MORE agenda. He said in line with the MORE agenda of peace and security, an anti-cult and drug outfit would be established in Nsukka Kingdom and solicited the provision of vehicles and accessories to help curb insecurity and drug-related offenses.
Our association has always been a beacon of hope and opportunity for our youth, and I pledge to build on this legacy. We will work tirelessly to create and submit sustainable programs and initiatives to the progressive government of Governor Sheriff Oborowori.
Mr. Opia appealed to the state government to encourage oil companies to invest in Nsukka clan, which is rich in natural resources. I am Pere Botu reporting.
The state government has inaugurated some projects instituted by the Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprise in the Niger Delta, Life ND, in collaboration with the federal government, Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. The projects were inaugurated by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Agriculture, Mr. Uche Egbuneche, on behalf of the State Deputy Governor, Samande Onyeme. Henrietta Onyama reports.
The project has implemented 40 infrastructural structures across Delta states.
Samande Onyeme said the project was strategic and emphasized the need for it to be put to good use. Some key partners of Life Envy project, which includes the Delta State Life Envy State Project Coordinator, Mr. Collins Ashoro, the National Project Coordinator, Life ND, Dr. Abiodun Sani, represented by Mr. Matthew Arima, who is also the Financial Coordinator, Life Envy, and the NDDC representative, Mrs. Stella Manore, were all at Egbo Market in Kokori, Etiop East Local Government Area, and Emu Beleti in Ondokwa East Local Government Area. They added that in both Kokori and Emu Beleti, 20 open market stores, 10 lock-up shops, 8,000-liter solar power borehole with treatment house and VIP toilets were constructed in each of the communities to accelerate economic growth. The state project coordinator, Mr. Collins Ashoro, said Life ND initiative aligns with the Governor Sheriff Oborowori's small agenda and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, which he said we are both committed to improving the quality of life for families through agriculture and economic empowerment.
The project development objectives aim to enhance income, food security, and job creation for rural youth and women through sustainable agribusiness development in Niger Delta region of Nigeria.
The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, represented by the Director in the Ministry, Mr. John Onoroke, inaugurated a 250-capacity poultry facility with store, toilet, and 8 cubic meter solar borehole at Ekuma Abavo community in a Kalsat local government area, as well as cassava processing mill at Ndemili, said the project will improve the people's quality of life.
NDDC as an interventionist agency remain committed to sustainable development and improving livelihood of the people of the Niger Delta region.
This fix wouldn't have been possible if not because of the effort of the community, the effort of the local governments, the effort of the state government, and the efforts of the federal government.
The Okakoro of Agbo Kingdom, Chief Joseph Agwete, as well as other community leaders in their remarks, expressed satisfaction at the timely completion of the project in line with specification. The event featured cultural performances by troops in all the communities where projects were inaugurated.
In all the communities visited where projects were inaugurated, most of the community members came out in their numbers to appreciate Life ND for the numerous projects that were cited in their community. Henrietta Onyama reporting.
The State Head of Service, Mr. Reginald Bayoko, has said his leaving office will not stop his contributions to the growth and development of the civil service and the state in general. Mr. Bayoko stated this when he played host to members of the University of Benin Alumni Association Asaba branch, led by the chairman, Ms. Magdalene Chiameke. He enjoined the workers to continue to give their best in service delivery to the government and the people of the state. The head of service, who will be leaving office on March 29 after 35 years, commended the leadership of the Uniben alumni body for its efforts at keeping the Uniben flag flying, giving assurance that he remained an active member of the association, in or out of office. The chairman of the Uniben Alumni Association in Asaba, Ms. Magdalene Chiameke, expressed the appreciation of the body to the head of service for his remarkable contributions to the growth and success. Ms. Chiameke lauded Mr. Bayoko's dedication and tireless efforts in shaping the association into its present state, inspiring graduates of Uniben in all walks of life to identify with and support the alumni body. While thanking the HOS for being a true leader, the Uniben alumni chairman urged him not to relent in being a guiding light and pillar of support to the association. Promoting harmonious relationship between farmers and herdsmen for sustainable development of the state was the fulcrum of a one-day conference organized by the Office of the Special Advisor to the Governor on Livestock and Inter-Ethnic Matters. The conference, which held today at the Press Center in the Government House, Asaba, drew community leaders, farmers, herdsmen, security personnel, and other stakeholders together as they bared their minds on the root causes of conflict and the way forward. Eunice Emeasia reports.
The Special Advisor to the Governor on Livestock and Inter-Ethnic Matters, Chief Jeffrey Azaba, said Nigeria was currently grappling with challenges of economic growth and environmental sustainability, and Delta State, with its vast resources to address such challenges, was sometimes hindered by conflicts between farmers and herdsmen, which had led to loss of lives, destruction of properties, displacement of communities, and mistrust. Highlighting on the theme of the conference, cultivating interactions between farmers and livestock herders divides towards sustainable development, Dr. Azaba stressed the need for a farmers herders dialogue forum to facilitate regular meetings and negotiations between both groups, adding that a committee will be set up to produce a white paper on the issue that will serve as a workable document for security personnel to execute.
So, as part of that white paper, we are going to come up with security beats. You know, any of these groups that are coming into the state, we know them. And we will arrange for an identity card for those of them with the various contributions, you know, from the farmers, the herders, and the community leaders. We're going to witness peace across the state.
In his remarks, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Peace Building and Conflict Resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, recommended the enforcement of anti-grazing laws as well as the implementation of ranching laws. He advocated the total disarming of all arm-bearing herders, arrest of underage herders, equipping of the Operation Delta Sweep to stamp out activities of criminal-minded herdsmen, establishment of task forces to man major entry points into the state, the profiling of herdsmen, and marking out of dens of armed herdsmen.
And because we cannot be able to execute it right away, we advise that the herders should curtail themselves to where community has assigned to them. Because once both parties can be guided with the rules, there will be no problem.
The resource person, Professor Daniel Baraji, urged host communities to hand over criminally minded herders to security personnel and operate within the confines of the law, while advising herders to shun acts capable of jeopardizing the peace of their host communities. Others, including security personnel, herders and farmers, lauded the initiative of the conference and expressed optimism that it will enhance peace and development.
Your cow is your farm. My farm is my cow. So everybody must protect their own. So I want to beg us, the issue of the side of security, we will not take it lightly with any of us. We want to create problem for the state.
The conference, which featured interactive sessions, was attended by representatives of the State Commission of Police, the Department of State Security Services DSS, community leaders and elders, and Cattle Breeders Association, among other stakeholders. Eunice Emeazia reporting.
Mr. Anthony Okol of the Warri City Chambers, Wasima, has been installed as the 13th president of the Delta Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, DASIMA, for the year 2025 to 2026. The event held in Asaba. The report.
The event, which had as its theme, Driving Excellence Through Collaboration and Innovation, a pathway for sustainable growth, brought together stakeholders from various sectors to discuss key issues and opportunities the future of business, trade, and economic development, among other topics. Mr. Oko, in his acceptance speech, said his key priority as president of the association would be to enhance the advocacy role of DASIMA in promoting a favorable business environment and strengthening partnership with government agencies, business, and other stakeholders to drive economic growth in the state.
As I take over the new leadership mantle, I want to assure members of the Chamber that I will maintain an open door policy with a strong desire for synergy and the partnership to move the Chamber to an enviable position. I therefore challenge my executive members to key into this renewed drive to maintain a strong collaborative bond with the Delta State governments and others.
In his address, the immediate past president of the DASIMA, Dr. Anthony Idigbe, represented by Chief Simon Asite, lauded members of the association for their peaceful disposition and emphasized the need for collaboration, innovation, and collective effort to drive economic growth and development.
We congratulate our incoming president of DASIMA, Engineer Anthony Oko of Warri City Chamber, Wasima, on his election. We regard him as a worthy successor and are confident that he will successfully carry the torch.
Earlier, the national vice president of the NASIMA, Mrs. Patricia Idiakwa, commissioned the building of the Delta Trade and Arbitration Center, Asaba, to serve the entire southern state, where businessmen and women could resolve their business differences outside the regular court procedures and have their decision accepted within the ambit of the law. In their goodwill messages, the special advisor to the state governor on trade and investment, Mrs. Shimite Love, the Asaba of Asaba, Professor Epiphany Azinge, represented by Chief Apam Obiago, the Secretary DASIMA, Mr. Peter Ukole, commended the peaceful election, enjoining the members to continue to promote viable projects and create a conducive environment for investors.
You can't really do much if you're not a manufacturer. It means you are just trading somebody else's sweat. We want to see how you can produce and trade what you have.
The Royal Majesty, we will be interested to know those things that will be required from Asaba people, for people who want to do business in Asaba, that will create an enabling environment.
The event featured lectures and the formal handover of baton to the new president, among other activities. Henry Onogwa reporting.
The Supreme Court has declared as invalid, illegal, null and void the local government election conducted in Rivers State on October 5 last year and won by the All People's Party, APP. Justice Jamilu Tuko, who delivered the lead verdict, held that the council poll was conducted in gross violation of Section 150 of the Electoral Act 2022. A federal high court in Abuja had on September 30 last year stopped the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from releasing voters registered to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RCEC, for the purpose of conducting the October 5 last year local government elections in the state. The Apex Court held that the election was invalid because all conditions precedent billed to be implemented were jettisoned by Rivers State Electoral Commission. You're watching Delta TV Main News at 8. Still to come, federal government defends its decision to approve a 50% tariff hike for telecommunications services. Details of this story and many more will come after the short break. Please stay tuned.
Bro, I tell you, this match 3-0. If I win you, something will come out.
Don't play with me. Fast ball. You know what? You don't stop me.
Bro.
Now we got this man.
Keep the banter going with Glow Borrow Me Credit or Data. Dial star 303 hash to borrow airtime or data and pay later.
Is it ready?
Only one thing
Power your relentless ambition with ultra-high-speed data. Glow Unlimited.
What if upgrading your TV doesn't mean buying a new one? Unbelievable, right? But with the new Airtel Smart Router, you can now watch YouTube on any TV and also get unlimited data for 30 days to stream thrilling Nollywood movies, catch up on football highlights, and keep your kids engaged with edutainment all on YouTube. With the Airtel Smart Router, everyone gets what they love. Get the Smart Router plus unlimited data for 25,000 Naira. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get yours. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Delta TV Main News at 8. The federal government has defended its decision to approve a 50% tariff hike for telecommunication services, citing job protection for Nigerians and the need to prevent multinational firms from leaving the country. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, gave the clarification after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the presidential villa in Abuja. He explained that the decision aligns with the need to ensure the sustainability of foreign investment amidst rising operational costs and inflationary trends. Dr. Tijani noted that the government carefully considered the decision given the critical role the telecom sector plays in the country's economy. He revealed that the request for a tariff increase had been pending before the current administration took office, but President Bola Tinubu insisted on a thorough evaluation before approving any adjustments. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) criticized the tariff hike, accusing the government of failing to conduct adequate consultations before approving the increase. Labour unions also threatened to mobilize their affiliate unions to boycott telecom services unless the government rescinds the decision. According to some stakeholders in Nigerian politics, such an increase would only worsen the country's inflation rates. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has directed MultiChoice Nigeria to maintain its current subscription prices pending the outcome of ongoing investigations. The pay TV operator had announced a 21% increase in subscription fees for its DSTV and GoTV packages effective from March 1. The FCCPC on Tuesday vowed to investigate the price hike, summoning the company's leadership to explain the circumstances behind the proposed increase. MultiChoice Nigeria subsequently requested an extension of the date for its appearance before the Commission. According to the report, the Commission, in a statement by its Director of Corporate Affairs, Mr. Ondaje Ijagu, said that while the request had been granted, the company is now required to attend the rescheduled investigative hearing on 6th March, along with all relevant officers, and a comprehensive response. MultiChoice had been instructed to maintain the existing price structure pending the Commission's review and final determination on the matter. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, has warned civil servants against leaking classified documents, fraud, bribery, and other forms of corrupt practices. The Commission cautioned that anyone found to have leaked unauthorized documents would be dismissed. ICPC gave the warning at a sensitization forum organized by the Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, ACTU, of the Federal Ministry of Transportation, in collaboration with the Commission in Abuja. The Commission's Director of System Study and Review Department, Mr. Olusegun Adingun, expressed the confidence that Nigeria is winning the war against corruption but should do better. The Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Transportation, Mr. Musa Ibrahim, said the forum would help sustain the tempo of zero tolerance for corruption and corrupt practices in the ministry by encouraging staff to institutionalize integrity, honesty, and transparency in the discharge of their duties. Mr. Musa, who was represented by the Ministry's Director of Special Duties, Dr. Vivian Wonsu, described corruption as a killer of development. And now to world news. The Vatican has said in a medical update that Pope Francis, who has been battling pneumonia for 2 weeks, is showing signs of improvement. The Vatican said the Pope will remain in hospital due to a complex clinical picture, adding that the 88-year-old had another peaceful night and was now resting in Rome's Gemelli Hospital. The report said the pontiff was now out of the critical phase. The Pope was admitted to hospital on February 14 after experiencing breathing difficulties for several days. He was first treated for bronchitis before being diagnosed with pneumonia. On February 22, the Vatican said the Pope had experienced a respiratory crisis and was in a critical condition, but later on Sunday released an update that he had not presented any further respiratory crisis. Monday, the Pope issued a statement asking Catholics to pray for him after he was unable to deliver the traditional Angelus prayer in person for the second week running. The Ukrainian President, Mr. Volodymyr Zelensky, is today meeting with US President Donald Trump to sign a critical minerals deal today as Kyiv works to regain US support to fight off the Russian invasion and Washington reverses its punitive policy towards Moscow. President Zelensky is facing a sharply different attitude from President Trump. President Trump had said he wanted to quickly wind down the 3-year war, improve relations with Moscow, and recoup US money spent to support Ukraine. He had also adopted a much less committed stance towards European security, to which the US had been an indispensable partner since the Second World War. The change in tone from the United States had shocked Europe and stoked fears that Kyiv could be forced into a peace deal that favors Russia. The minerals agreement negotiated in recent days likely to open up Ukraine's large mineral wealth to the United States, however, not including American security guarantees. And to Canada, the Prime Minister of Canada, Mr. Justin Trudeau, has said his country would immediately retaliate against any tariffs imposed by the United States President, Mr. Donald Trump. Mr. Trudeau's statement comes amid escalating trade tensions between the US and Canada following President Trump's re-election. President Trump yesterday threatened to impose a 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada starting Tuesday, March 4, adding that Canada would be subject to a lower 10% tax on Canadian energy products such as electricity. President Trump explained that the tariff was intended to curb the flow of illicit drugs such as fentanyl into the US, allegedly coming from both Canada and Mexico. Mr. Trudeau countered that Canada was also grappling with the same issue of illicit drug inflow. Mexico has extradited 29 alleged drug cartel members to the United States, including high-profile gang leaders. Those extradited include notorious drug lord Rafael Carrillo Quintero, who has been wanted by the U.S. for the murder of an American agent 40 years ago. The move, considered to be the biggest extraditions in Mexico's history, is seen as a major step in bilateral security relations between the two countries. It comes after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened earlier this year to impose tariffs on imports from Mexico, accusing it of failing to tackle drug trafficking and mass migration. And to business. The Minister of State Petroleum Resources Oil, Senator Henneke Lokobiri, yesterday blamed companies operating in Nigeria's upstream sector for the underperformance of the oil and gas industry. Data from the National Bureau of Statistics showed that despite contributing over 90% of Nigeria's foreign exchange earnings, the petroleum industry contributed less than 5% to the GDP. speaking at the ongoing Nigeria Energy International Summit, NEIS, in Abuja. Senator Lokobiri noted that the poor performance by the companies has meant that local refineries were struggling to get the needed crude oil feedstock for their operations. In his address, the Commission's Chief Executive, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPRC, Engineer Gbenga Komolafe, pointed out that while the upstream companies were producing 1.75 million barrels per day presently, they have the technical potential to produce 2.24 million barrels per day. Still, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has discontinued the registration of multi-dose anti-malarial artemether lumefantrine dry powder for oral suspension. The announcement was made in a public alert number 01/2025 released on the agency's website yesterday. According to the alert, the decision was made due to the instability of the reconstituted formulations, which can lead to a loss of efficacy over time. It said the suspension applies to all locally manufactured and imported multi-dose artemether lumefantrine dry powder for oral use. NAFDAC will no longer accept new applications, renewals, or variations for this product. According to the alert, stability studies have shown that once reconstituted, the artemether lumefantrine oral suspension becomes unstable, which can result in a loss of efficacy. The agency said this could lead to worsened health conditions, increased risks of complications, treatment delays, or even death. It said NAFDAC had directed all zonal directors and state coordinators to carry out surveillance activities and remove all locally manufactured and imported products from circulation. The agency also advised importers, distributors, retailers, healthcare professionals, and caregivers to ease the importation, distribution, and sale of the products immediately. It said healthcare professionals and consumers had been urged to report any suspected sale of these products, as well as any substandard or falsified medicines, to the nearest NAFDAC office. The agency said the public could also report adverse events or side effects through the agency's e-reporting platforms or via the Med Safety application available on Android and iOS. The Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BON, has received the news of the death of a golden voice of broadcasting and the first phase of television in the continent of Africa, Mrs. Anike Agbaje Williams, who died on Thursday, 27th February 2025, at the age of 88. A statement by the Executive Secretary BON, Dr. Yemisi Gamboshe, said the golden voice of the tube, Mrs. Anike Agbaje Williams, Nee Kufoji, was a foremost media practitioner who pioneered presentation on radio and television. As one of the pioneer staff of Western Nigeria Broadcasting Service, WNBS, and Western Nigerian Television, WNTV, Mrs. Anike Agbaje Williams bequeathed solid foundations for broadcasting as a newscaster, continuity announcer, program presenter, and producer of high repute. According to the statement, she spent all her life as a role model for the upcoming generations of broadcasters, as a thoroughbred professional broadcaster, mentor, and manager whose legacy in broadcast would forever be cherished. BON prayed God to repose her soul and commiserated with her immediate family in particular, and all professional broadcasters from across Africa, where she had a positive impact on several people through her professional presentations and productions. And now to sports. Manchester United are reportedly considering a swap deal for Napoli striker Victor Osimhen. The Red Devils are willing to offer 40 million euros plus striker Rasmus Højlund for the Nigeria international. Osimhen, who joined Turkish club side Galatasaray on loan last September, would return to Napoli at the end of the season. According to the reports, Manchester United are currently unwilling to match Osimhen's transfer fee, but they are preparing an offer worth 40 million euros plus ex-Atalanta star Højlund. The Nigeria forward has been in fantastic form for Napoli this season, netting 20 goals and providing 5 assists in 25 appearances. That's our news. Now our thought for the day. The positive role you play in people's lives will pay you when you least expected it. Now, before we go, let's take a look at some of our major stories. President Bola Tinubu has signed the 2025 Budgetary Appropriation Bill into law. The National Assembly had passed a total of 54.99 trillion naira for the 2025 fiscal year. The state governor, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborewore, has said his administration will continue to respond to criticism with verifiable projects that are positively impacting on the lives of Deltans. Governor Oborewore stated this during the inauguration of the Boji Owa Mixed Modern Market in Ika North-East Local Government Area, constructed by the state government. The federal government has defended its decision to approve a 50% tariff hike for telecommunication services, citing job protection for Nigerians and the need to prevent multinational firms from leaving the country. The Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Bosun Tijani, gave the clarification after a meeting with President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. We also reported that the Vatican has said in a medical update that Pope Francis, who has been battling pneumonia for 2 weeks, is showing signs of improvement. The Vatican said the Pope will remain in hospital due to a complex clinical picture, adding that the 88-year-old had another peaceful night and was now resting in Rome's Gemelli Hospital. That ends Delta TV News at 8. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am Blessing Usiagwada. Have a lovely night rest and goodbye for now.